Hey, everybody. Well, look who's here with me today. Adrian Anchondo from General Hospital. So nice to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so glad we finally get to talk.
I
There's lots
know.
to talk about. I know, right? I mean, you first have to tell me about how has this journey been for you on General Hospital? I know you're coming into the hot show right now.
Yeah.
It's like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And you're one of the new guys. Was it a difficult learning curve for you?
I'm not gonna lie, it definitely was a little bit of a learning curve. But I had such a supportive cast and crew around me. It didn't even though I felt a little like scared and nervous. I kind of just like I don't know. I hit the ground running. The scripts were already like I was being thrown in there with some drama already. It was good. It was really fun, and especially the first few scenes that I had with Van, because we had sort of known each other for a while. I felt like I had like a safety with me, and also like I had the pleasure of like being able to create a new character that's coming into Port Charles, whereas a lot of other people are taking on other roles.
Like Van had to do.
Yeah. So
there was Marco.
Yeah. So it was exciting to be the newbie.
So I had talked to Van about the audition process, and I guess there were like several finalists or people that were for the role, and basically said that he knew that you were the one that should have this role. Like he thought that.
I definitely didn't know. I was shaking in my producer session. We had, I don't know how many people auditioned to begin with. I'm assuming there were a lot, but I think it went down to like 12 people for the producer session. So that was intimidating to see a bunch of like beautiful Latino men just in the room. Like, I of course you don't want to feel competitive. You want to be friendly with everyone, but it was very nerve-wracking. And then after that, I think it went down to 4 of us for the screen test. And in between that time, I believe the fires in LA had happened.
Yes.
So there was a lot of waiting time in between trying to, you don't really know. Usually when you audition for something, you kind of have to let it go. Even if you fall in love with the character, you have to be like, you know what? If it happens, it happens. If not, it wasn't meant to be. So finally, when the screen test came, at that point, I was like, this is mine. This is mine. I feel it. It's mine. Plus, I had my mom with me in spirit. She was such a fan of the show and of Young and the Restless, and I carried her little compact with me.
I heard that. I thought that was such an amazing story. I mean, to be on this show, your mom would just love it.
Love it. I would have really loved to celebrate getting this part with her.
Of course. And so you and Van met at Williams 20 years ago?
Williams Theater Festival. Aging myself, but I think it was about 20 years ago. I was an apprentice there, and I believe he was in the equity or non-equity team there. And we did work on a show together, but we never had any scenes together. It was so long ago, though. I can't even remember what the show was, but I do remember speaking with him, and he was amongst friends of mine. Like we shared friends, and we didn't really keep in contact that much over the years, but he was still friends with friends of mine, and so I would see him around sometimes.
So you come in to the show, and here you guys are. I think this is the first flirty thing.
Wow, why do I look younger there?
Because it ages you doing daytime.
Yeah, right? The last 5 months have just
right. Like, oh my God, the wrinkles.
40 more gray hairs in my beard.
Right? Well, let's see. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We were talking, Van and I, it's nice that a gay actor is playing a gay role.
Yeah.
Which isn't always the case.
Mhm.
I think it's become more and more that way in Hollywood. What's your thought on that, as far as it's more comfortable, I'm assuming, playing a romantic lead against a person who is out in real life?
Mhm.
Or how do you feel about it?
I know it's a very controversial subject right now, and I do believe that I believe in fairness. For a
Mhm.
long time, there were no queer actors playing queer roles, and while I hope that a queer actor would get a part of a queer character, um, I understand that sometimes it's a business decision, as far
Box
as like
office,
popularity.
box right. Yeah.
In my heart, I don't believe that Brokeback Mountain would have changed as many lives for people when I was younger if it were two queer actors. Um, it took those actors to get that project done and be seen, and so I kind of just like weighed like what is more important, that people get to experience this in the theaters and that it gets to get the awards. Hopefully it's all building to a place where it will mostly be queer people who are acting in those roles. Um, would I have been upset if someone that was straight got the role? Probably, but I would have been upset for not getting the role and
Right.
overall.
Right.
Um,
Heath
but
Ledger was pretty good in Brokeback Mountain,
oh
right?
yeah, oh
He got
yeah,
the best. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
and I think that I have mostly played straight in on TV in different roles. I love being able to challenge people's expectations. It's always funny seeing friends of mine, like when they watch stuff that I've been on in the past. I was always playing like the bad guy turned into a good cop, or the good cop turned into a bad guy or a gangster or something. Um, so yeah, I feel like there's a danger in maybe overcorrecting sometimes, but I still think that there's a lot that needs to be corrected.
So you came into the show and you've been in this love story with Lucas and Marco. Marco has done some not so good things. Like, I think there's trouble
Mm,
ahead. What do you
mm,
think about Marco's actions? Like, he has gone full on against Sonny,
mm.
blaming him for the death of his mother, who, by the way, great. I loved you in this. This was
Oh,
so wonderful.
thank you.
Um, can you talk to me about playing those heartbreaking scenes when you're at the door?
Yeah.
Natalia's dead. You have to say goodbye to Eva LaRue.
Mhm.
Um,
She was. I felt like she was actually my aunt's, like my off-screen mother too. We had very few moments together, but they were so special, and she made me feel so comfortable. Um, you know, one of the things that I'm noticing, I try not to look at online comments or pay
just
too much
hard not to
attention.
do, which is hard
Yes.
not to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
especially since, I will say that like for a while I did look at some comments where I did watch a lot of my scenes just because I was kind of learning my character as I went.
Mhm.
I was learning who I was in the relationship to other characters that, the fans have been watching it for years. They know what Sonny has done. They know what all these other relationships are. And for me coming into the role, like I wasn't following the show as much as other people were. So I was learning from the comments what, how people felt and what was going on. Um, even the story between, Blaze and Natalia,
Right.
learning that she was lesbian and that mom didn't accept her either. And, we're creating this new character that may have a relationship with Blaze that, if it's not on the script, then I don't know about it until,
Right.
a
Right.
producer tells me or something, or a director talks to me about it. But I think that I think that one of the things that the comments that I've gotten the most, even at like the fan event that happened recently, was, please don't turn bad. Please don't turn bad.
I don't know.
Everyone wants Marco to be really good, and I, I think that the interesting thing about soaps is that there's a little bit of good and bad in everyone. I forgot who was talking about this. I saw online. Someone said, a hero and a villain's origin story is pretty much the same. They all start off, they were hurt by someone, they were an orphan, or the system brought them down, or something was taken away from them, and they grew up in poverty, whatever it might be. But what makes the hero or the villain is how they choose to respond to their stresses and to their pain. And in any moment, someone who is a hero could be a villain, and someone who's a villain could be a hero. In the same, week that I'm lashing out, I also rescued Christina. So,
Yes, but let's not forget about that. He did rescue Christina. Yes,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so I think that something that, we may not have explored in the script or on the show yet, but that I have explored for myself, is how much of this pain and this rage towards Sonny is misdirected. And it's really just a response to my own guilt for letting my mom go in more ways than one, meaning not believing her that she's changed, having every interaction be so, so tough with each other. And, even just missing out on saving her because I was with Christina.
That was the thing. Yeah. I think he's so guilt-ridden. He was on his way. Then he made a beat to save Christina, so he feels guilty. And then there's this moment where, you see her there. And I thought this really gave you a chance to really shine in the context of the show, where we hadn't seen you be able to do that yet. That's what I felt.
As I might have mentioned in other interviews, or what you might know already, is that my mom, who passed away, we had a very similar relationship. That the relationship that Natalia and Marco have kind of mirrors the relationship that I had with my own mother. She wasn't around for a lot, and her and I butted heads a lot, and accepting me as a gay man, that was also an issue for a long time. And when my mom had an aneurysm, and it was just out of nowhere. She was 46 years old, and I got a call from my brother, and he said, you have to fly out to, I was in the Bay Area, and my mom lived in Pennsylvania. And he said, you have to fly out here. She's in a coma. And so the whole flight, I didn't know if she was gone, or, within the 6 hours on the plane, I didn't know if she had made it or not. She was in a coma for about a week, and we kept thinking that she was going to make it. And in my conversation with her while she was laying there, I said those words, I'm sorry. I wish things could have been better for us. I wish, we're supposed to have so much more time to make this better, to be best friends. This can't be it. It's not supposed to happen this way. It's one of the lines I said. When that scene came up, I was definitely feeling it before it. I was preparing for it. And I think even some of the other actors could see that I was like in this zone of, just like near tears. It's something that I was rediscovering. I was living through again. So those tears are real. But in the context of the, of the show, of course, it's a much smaller storyline than what I went through in my real life.
Of course. But wasn't she a bigot she was very homophobic to Blaze and to Marco? right? She was not accepting.
Yeah.
And which was so interesting about the story is that it was his dad, Sidwell, who actually is more accepting of him as a gay man and all that. However, Sidwell is not a good guy.
There's that question about what makes a hero and what makes a villain. To me, he was my hero, and to others, he's a villain. And my mom was the villain to me. You know, I wanted my mom to be my hero, but I think that, we'll see what happens. But I wonder if Marco, like how much Marco can actually turn his head or give into it or help him. I don't know. Um, it'll be interesting to see what choices he makes when it comes to.
Well, he went and he, kind of set this all in motion, actually, Marco, what we're seeing. He went to Drew and told Drew about the judge being bribed, which literally set his dad off on a two. Why did he go to Drew? Why did he go to Drew? Because he wanted to pay back Sonny? Is that why Marco went to Drew?
Yeah. I think it's that built up rage and that built up pain. He couldn't wait for his father to make a business decision. He wanted him to act from his heart, the way he acted from his heart when Marco came out to him, accepting him and loving him right away. I think that Marco is questioning, like, where are you? That's why he screams, like, I don't care about those peers. That's not what we're talking about here. I thought we were on the same page about what this punishment has to come from.
What did Marco hope the outcome would have been? He thought if he told Drew this about the judge, he was hoping that what was in his mind he was hoping the outcome would be.
I think in the end, all that mattered was that Sonny was punished and hurt. That I feel like Marco just wants the healing process to speed up faster. And I don't know if Marco is going to realize that a lot of this pain might be coming from his own guilt, like we talked about earlier.
Do you think he'll ever get wise to what his father is really doing, or he doesn't care?
I think that Marco is a lawyer.
That's what I think, right.
And I think that lawyers don't really make decisions based on emotions. And I think that Marco is kind of losing himself in his emotions right now. And who knows, maybe his lawyer side will kick in and maybe he'll start to see what everyone else is seeing in Port Charles when it comes to my father. But there are other people who love my father too on the show.
I think that he's so driven to get back at Sonny that my prediction, he will use his legalese. He will use the fact that he's a lawyer to help get back at him. I think Marco's not done.
Mm-hmm. I think that you will start to see some interesting relationships form because of Marco's work and because of his emotions and his relationship with his father.
We have just seen we've seen a double shock. Judge Heran is dead in the water, and Drew's been shot twice in the back, and he's been rushed into surgery and all of that, and the judge was strangled and things. Many people are thinking that Marco may have had something to do with the judge dying or Drew. He could be a suspect too. Do you think could you see him being a suspect in this?
I think
or
no.
More his
I think everyone's ties make them a suspect on this show, which makes it so much fun. It's like a never-ending clue.
And how is it for you with the pace? So You're 6 weeks ahead of air, right? Basically, from
Yeah.
what I understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Give or take. Yeah.
Give or take. And do you get the scripts that only say Marco? Do you know what everyone else is doing? I was understanding you only get Marco scenes.
I only get Marco scenes. Yeah.
So is that hard or better?
It's definitely more challenging, because sometimes for memorization, it's better to have the backstory and know what the intention is for some of the lines. And even when I'm on set, if I don't ask a question about something I'm not sure about, and I don't emphasize a word or a clue or even a name, if I don't say the full name of someone, I know that the director and the producers know what the audience needs to know. And so sometimes, they'll give me a note saying, try it again, but, make sure you emphasize this, or make sure that this is where this is coming from.
Right. So they say, like, this is what's going on over here. So you kind of know, like, this. Okay.
Yeah. But what's tricky is, we shoot stuff out of order too, depending on there's so many actors that they have to juggle their schedules. So sometimes, for instance, we have a big break in July. The last scene that we shot was actually something that aired after the scenes that I shot when I came back. Does that make sense? So when I came back, I shot 2 more episodes, but then the last scene of that 5 weeks before
was actually, in that. Was yeah.
So I'm coming in after 5 weeks thinking, oh, that already happened. But when we're shooting, it didn't happen.
What did you think? I mean, everybody's so happy that Drew's finally got shot. Like, what do you think of the story though? Like, they did like a almost double murder. They did. Like, what did you think when you found out? Did you read that, or how did you find out about what was going to happen? Like, the judge was going to be thrown in the pier dead, and Drew was going to get shot. What was your reaction to that as Adrian finding that out?
I was definitely shocked, and I honestly didn't know about Drew getting shot until, I believe, recently, like maybe 2 weeks ago. Because we're not, when we're not shooting our scenes, we're not there and we're not talking with the other actors and seeing what they're doing on set. And since we don't have the script, we don't really know either. I also, I think what's interesting to me is when I hear about, like, when I do read any of the comments or try to catch up, it's always interesting to me what characters people love and hate. And
I hate him.
Yeah, he's such
they hate him.
And he's such a lovely guy and so talented. And it can't be easy. It can't be easy playing a character as an actor, hearing that people want you dead. I think the only time I ever felt that way was when I watched Game of Thrones with Joffrey. I was like, oh my God, but please, only because he's so evil.
But Cameron was saying this, like he said in an interview, he's relishing this. It's almost like a throwback to Who Shot JR on Dallas years ago, where it's like all the suspects and everyone's talking, and you knew he would die. Like, it was like he likes it. I mean, I've never seen him play a bad guy before, which is what's great about it. Yeah. In terms of you, do you want him to be more bad?
Marco?
Yeah. Like, how far do you want to take it, or do you want to toe the line like you're talking about? Or do you want him to have a heart?
I believe Marco has a really big heart, and I believe that love will save the day for Marco, no matter where he ends up. what trouble he gets into. But maybe I'm going to become a mob boss too. I don't know. It would be really interesting to have a gay.
I'm all for the gay mob boss. Let's do it. Like
Yeah.
you never, right? Like you never really see that. I'd be like, why not? I am worried though. Like, what do you think Lucas would do if he found out what Marco's been up to?
I think in the script, some scenes that we've shot that would have aired already. Lucas is all in. Lucas is like, actually, there was the moment where Sonny came into the hotel and we kind of like had this. In one moment, I'm like, well, as an actor, I didn't say this to him in the scene, but as an actor, I'm like, you made me miss my mother's memorial because you kidnapped me. How dare you? Like, and then, eventually, whether it's strategic or not, whether he really sees something in Sonny or respects him in some way, he kind of lets him leave. And even if in the moment Marco is peaceful, Lucas comes in and starts attacking his own family, basically. So I think that we see that Lucas kind of can be the bulldog as well. We'll get to see different layers of Lucas too, which is really nice.
All right, but you don't think Lucas comes off holier than thou, as opposed to Marco?
I watched his scenes with Willow
when he got slapped.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what?
Good. You deserve that slap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that. At least as Marco, I don't think Marco sees that. I think maybe me personally, maybe, but yeah. The other thing I wanted to say about the audience not liking certain characters, I had no idea that people were very unhappy with Natalia, and because I had not seen her scenes of bigotry towards my sister, and I did really see her trying. Like when I watch Eva act, I can see the pleading and the pain and the guilt and the love that she was attempting to give and trying to like ask for forgiveness. I fell in love with that. So it was always like a shock to me when I, the way that people don't like Drew. I was surprised to see that with Natalia as well.
But you got to work with Eva LaRue.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that?
So cool. So cool. And like, can I just say that I feel very lucky that, my story arc right from the beginning, I kind of was thrown in with some of, the veterans and it was amazing. I mean, very intimidating, but really amazing. And one of the nice things that I've heard from people was like, you're really holding your own with these like legends. And I'm like, thank you. That means a lot to me because all I want to do is be of like support to these actors and do my best.
Did you know about Van with Nuke, the story of Nuke on As the World Turns and Luke and Noah? Were you into all that? Did you know about that? Do you know any of how they did the first gay kiss?
Yes, I know that.
That was a very big landmark thing. And he was amazing on that show because, it was a very different time.
Yeah.
15 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. And he was like the moral center, like a character. I always got annoyed through the years that why does the gay character have to be the moral center? Why can't they, because I felt like they had to do that to make them acceptable to the mainstream audience, because gay people are not all nice and wonderful and have, either. So I am glad that we're seeing shades of it now, because it didn't used to be that way, especially in daytime television. It was
Yeah.
more like, we brought in a gay character. He has to love everybody, has to love him. He's wonderful to everybody. Like, that's not how life is,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Well,
But
I understand the hesitance to, or I understand the why, because you know, daytime television and the audience may need a little more warming up to understand perspectives. I mean, I think it's okay for me to say this, but Frank, when I was hired, we had a meeting, and I think he had said something like, the original idea of this character changed, and he really wanted people to fall in love with Marco, and I think we've succeeded in that. I think that we do need to see the softer side of what people may not understand before we can go dig deeper into the more challenging, darker, subtexts and stuff.
please tell me about working with Carlo Rota. What is he like? I've never talked to him. How is he to work with as your dad?
He's awesome. He's so talented. What's interesting is his current manager used to be my agent, and we switched, but we never knew each other. And so when I'm friends with that manager, when I had talked to him about, I'm up for this role, he told me about Carlo before I even knew anything about Carlo, and how he's like, I hope you get this part, because it'd be wonderful to work with him. And he believed in me. He was like, you're getting this part. You're getting it. Don't even overthink it. You're going to get it. So I think that Carlo is, I mean, he's just so well trained, and he gives me the confidence that I sometimes lack. It, like you said, it's not easy getting, we get one blocking, then a run through, a rehearsal after makeup, and then we try our best to do everything in one take and then move on. In other shows that I've been on, one scene, you get an hour or more to film, and if you mess up something in the close-up, then you hopefully get it in the wide, and then it gets edited, and you feel like a little
Better.
less.
Yeah.
Exactly. But this is boot camp. It's like, it's 5 cameras on you at once and different angles. If you don't feel good about one angle, too bad.
You want to walk off set one day? Like, I can't do, like, did it become too, I've talked to actors that have done many, many primetime shows, and they come to daytime and they cannot do it. And they've either quit, left. They couldn't take it. Like, it wasn't for them.
Yeah. I wonder if the opposite's going to happen for me. I wonder if I'm going to be impatient on another set now.
Right. I hear that too. Once you do this, everything else seems boring and slow.
Yeah. I mean, but Carlo is one of these actors who, even if he, misses a word or goes off script a little bit, he always finds his way back, and he never, by the way, I'm just saying this, if he hasn't really done this, but I, on the other hand, will admit that I have. And I didn't for a while have the confidence to just be like, I'll fix it. I just know what you're saying, go along with it, drive it through. He has that ability, and I think that, yeah, I get to learn from each of the actors that I work with, honestly.
And what about Maurice? Working with Maurice?
I mean, I of course was so intimidated.
It's very intimidating to walk in. And
yeah,
okay.
I mean, especially when all you've been exposed to is their character and not them as a person. You kind of have this idea in your head that this is a bad guy and he's going to be mean to me, you know. But when we did our first scene together, I thought it went. I mean, it went so well. I felt so comfortable with him. He has a very reassuring, like, I don't know. Like I said with Eva, it's kind of this safety net where they're like, "Don't worry, you're gonna get it. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be great." Like, I've been doing this for so long, and I still get nervous. And then we did his podcast.
His show. Yeah, saw that.
And I mean, I left that interview feeling like we're gonna be besties. I can see myself in him, in a lot of different ways.
You came in to interview for the job at Miller Davis, and you come in and there's Carolyn Hennessy and Nancy, and they're interviewing you. Talk to me about working with Nancy and Carolyn.
I think that was my second week, and all I had shot already was when I first came in, a lot of stuff was out of order. I don't know why. Maybe it was because it took a while for the casting process, but the first thing I shot was my scene with Lucas at the Then I think the next week we started, I had to be shirtless. I remember being like, oh my God, it's my third day and I have to be shirtless. Oh my God, I'm not ready. And then I think we shot all of my Alexis and Diane scenes the next day. And I was getting scripts for the next week, and I was still trying to memorize, like trying to get in the hang of it. And these interviews with Diane and Alexis were like lawyer speak, which is not me at all. And I'm in this like suit, and because there were different days that we were shooting, I had to do different costume changes within the same day. I believe this is how it went. I was a mess. In my head, I was a mess. I was a nervous mess, and I didn't even have time to think of them as like anyone I should be intimidated by. I was just so nervous with everything. Yeah. But they were both like, they gave me like a wink here and there, and like when something went well, or they like put a hand on me, they were like, just breathe, you're gonna be fine, you're doing great. I needed that a lot, because that second or third week, I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna regret bringing me on to this show, because I was like almost shaking and sweating a lot. But after, when I watched it, I was like, oh, okay.
It's so interesting, right? Like what we're going through, and doesn't read.
Yeah.
And what I think is wonderful about you is you have these amazing eyes that are very, like, you can see it in his eyes. Mm-hmm. I see the character, like you see the tears, you see what he's going through. There's a lot going on, I think, in your eyes, because sometimes you're like, oh, this Marco is so sweet and nice. And sometimes you're like, he's so vindictive. And, you know, all of this stuff going on.
I think that what makes maybe what you're reading from my eyes might be that a little mixture of like those insecurities and like my fears, and also just the processing of what I'm trying to say to a person and what I'm really meaning. I'm trying to show vulnerability at all times, because
I think that's what I see, and I think it's beautiful in the character. There's a vulnerability to the character.
Yeah,
and
I think
to the character, and I think that's amazing. Like, you see in his eye, like you see it. I saw it with Lucas, Marco and Lucas. What is working with Van like? What does he bring to the table for you? What's it like to have him as a scene partner?
He was the first one that I got to work with, and I'll be honest, I think after I thought I had it all good, I was like, I feel like I did a good job these last 2 weeks or whatever, 3 weeks. We had a scene, and I just could not. I kept on switching some names, and I kept on stopping. And once that happens, I start to spiral, and I get really beat myself up. And he was there. He was there for me. He was just like, take a breath. I'm here with you. Like, again, another safety net, another actor who is a partner with you there. Who knows how hard it is, who's been doing it for so many years. I think that Van especially helps me quiet my crazy a little bit.
The noise, right? Yeah. I go through things like that too all the time.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say about the vulnerability, and this is something I think that Van has too, is that I think when we're talking about heroes and villains, I think the best villains are the ones that you can see some of their vulnerability. You can see they're not all powerful, that they are hurt, that they're coming from something that has been bad for them,
I mean, you've shot some stuff, I'm assuming. Do you think we're going to want to throw things at the TV at Marco? Or are we going to, what is kind of our, without spoiling it, what do you think? Do you think we're going to be mad, or are we going to feel bad for him? I'm thinking
I think some annoyance, maybe. Not yet, nothing too, nothing too bad. I think that, like many of the characters, you're going to question motives, and you're going to question their intelligence and their, what their intentions.
What does he think of Michael? Does he hate Michael because he's Sonny's? What does he think of Michael?
Well,
I mean, is he like Drew, wants to get back? Everybody wants to get back at Sonny, so it's there's Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe Marco might actually relate a little bit to. I think Marco might relate a little bit to Michael, not only just being a son of someone who is horrible. I kind of I've always seen my role as Romeo or Juliet, and that Van is we're the children of these powerful families.
Yeah.
That there's a tragedy going on, but we're trying to. I think that Marco probably sees Michael as kind of a victim of, not a victim, but just doing the best they can with the hand that they were dealt,
Where they can't escape, really. There's no way they can't get out of it. They're like two sons who can't get out of, they're kind of stuck.
We got to see a little bit of a similar situation with with Christina, the scene that I got to have with Christina at the pool. She was like, you rescued me, and my answer was, well, it was the right thing to do. It didn't matter if I knew it was
Sonny's daughter.
It was the right thing to do. And I think I hold on to that as Marco. I think he's gonna, for the most part, believe in the right thing to do.
Well, I can say that we know that we're going to see you again the week of September 8th, next week. Mm-hmm. And I know you somehow are going to become involved in this Who Shot Drew caper story, shooting, suspects. Was it exciting to find out what you were doing? Did you, when you found out, which we
Yeah,
can't say?
it was definitely, I was like, oh, wow, this is an interesting spin.
It's a twist.
Where's this gonna go? I also, I'm really excited about, I think that this explosion between my father and me, I think it could be the start of an unraveling of a relationship, the only one that felt so secure in this town, being the new person. I mean, even my relationship with Lucas is, who knows what's going to happen.
Well, he's so angry. Sidwell is so angry at Marco because, from my understanding, he thinks Marco, and tell me if I'm correct here, ruined his plans by spilling to Drew about Judge Heran, because it was Sidwell who bribed the judge. He was trying to do this all to set up Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's thinking by Marco blabbing it to Drew, he ruined his plan. Is that correct?
Yeah. And I also I think that, I mean, from the beginning, Dad doesn't always tell me everything.
Right.
And I'm kind of like going along with this, like, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you, who I may have done something wrong by going behind my father's back, but I think there are things that my father has done and will do behind my back. And if we're saying we're really a team here, we're not being completely honest with each other. So I think that's an interesting thing.
My bet is, at the end of the day, down the line, Marco is going to be the one to be the undoing of his father.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be the interesting thing. First, like, he's just going to go along with it.
I've also seen some wild like things about my relationship to other characters that I'm like, I never thought about that. Maybe, who knows? Oh my God. I don't know if you've seen them, but
what are they saying? Is there a good one? Is there a wild one?
I think the wildest one is that the wildest one, I don't know if this is okay to say, but it's a conspiracy. I'm not giving anything away because I don't know.
Yeah.
That I somehow am actually Sonny's child. That's the wildest thing to me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I guess Sonny had like a long lost kid somewhere, or I don't know.
Well, Sonny's had 9,000 children, so
right. When you're a mob boss, I guess that's how it happens.
That's what happens. What's it like for your friends, family, people in your circle? Are they checking you out on General Hospital? Or they just don't watch it because they're not so, they're never going to watch it and that's it?
It's an interesting thing living in LA and having friendships and family in LA compared to other places. Because, people are constantly interacting with people in the industry. Friends of mine, my closest friends, they work in the industry in different ways. So what may be like a huge deal that people would follow, old friends of mine from Pennsylvania and San Francisco and the East Coast, here, I think that there's just a different perspective, different attitude towards it. It's not like I'm still Adrian, the nobody to a lot of people here, but everyone has been so, oh my God, just so loving, and they've been like, you've been working hard as an actor for many, many years, and you deserve this, and I knew it was going to happen for you, and that's been really touching, especially from other actors who have also been fighting to get a chance. It is not easy. It's not easy to be an actor and see all your friends constantly getting booked on things. I have friends that have, booked things that I had been really close to getting or wanted. And all I've ever done is celebrate them and even shared stuff online about them succeeding. And this is the first time I think that I think I felt that from other people, that they were really, really happy for me. My family is like I expressed, I don't really have like parents around anymore. And my grandmother on my father's side watches it every day now. She used to watch it, and then when I came on, she was like, she's seen me in other things, but this was the thing. She was like, "This is the best. This is like this is the show. Yeah, this is the best show for you to be on." And I want to bring her onto set one day. It's been interesting, like people from my past that have seen me in plays in the basement of a pizza place, and like all the theater I've done over the years. Just their support has been so nice. I'm still trying to learn how to have conversations and like being noticed in different places that I'm not, when I'm not Marco and I'm just Adrian trying to have a good time, or being noticed is it's a new thing for me, and I'm getting used to it. But I was just like back home in Pennsylvania for a funeral, unfortunately, and there were people there that watch the show and are like really proud and really happy, but I'm still trying to be like, well, we're here for a funeral, so I don't want to like disrespect. Like, I don't want to talk about this stuff so much. But it's all out of love, and I'm really appreciative of it.
And you do a lot of different things, though, too, right? You still do a lot of different things, as I see on your, like you have didn't you just go get a degree too? Didn't you just you do that, and aren't you dancing, and don't you do that? Like, don't you have a bunch of different things like you still do? My point is, you didn't give everything up. Just like you're keeping what makes you you, and you're still doing other stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do some party promotions. I've worked as a bartender. I'll still bartend here and there because just to make some extra money, and I work very closely, with the queer community in different ways. I got my master's degree. I was 2 months from graduating when I got the role after 3 years of being in school. So those first few weeks of shooting, I was also finishing up my hours for as a therapist, because I went for marriage and family therapy. So I'm taking a break from that so I can do this, and I don't know what my future holds for me, but at least I know that it's something else that I'm passionate about, is helping people. And yeah, I do my own work. Like, I've always loved creating and directing, and I used to make funny parody videos and content with my friends. So I did build a name up for myself, like within the community here and in online or whatever. I'm trying to stay active, but I also would love to just like, I don't know, maybe just be able to read a book again. I'm like, if it's
nice. You know what? I'm doing this role. I'm going to go read this book.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know. I know. And for me, like, I've been doing that too. Like I have my music. I do my music. I do my songwriting. I record. I put up videos. I do my music. I do my website. I do all the articles. So I have a lot of stuff. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, wow, I don't do anything at all. Like, there's no break. Like, I become so boring.
Yeah, I need to.
Like, I don't even remember the last time I went out. Like, I become really boring in my personal life. All right. So in wrapping up, we're going to say to tune in next week. Something happens. Something happens. I'm worried, but we'll see. We'll see. And I think you would sum up your GH adventure so far as, what would you say? It's been up and down, or just great? It's been probably nerve-wracking at times.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster in so many different ways, but I think that a lot of it has been the climb, and I'm starting to get into the soaring a little bit more, which is nice to let go of, like,
enjoy it. I want to get you want to get to the point, which I struggle to do, like, enjoy it. Like, where's the, you went into acting because you have a passion for it and you want to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
I think where do we find that? And when do we get that part?
Yeah. Yeah, and I want you want to please the fans, but also stay true to what the directors and the writers have in mind for you. The way that Drew is embracing, I'm not Drew. Cameron is embracing.
True.
Like, I need to welcome anything that comes my way. I have to welcome it because it's their baby, and I'm facilitating it. So hopefully I'll still be in people's good graces.
Or bottles thrown at the TV. I was going to say, what would you think though if they brought in another character? Would you be all for like a gay triangle, like the love story? Like, because they have the straight characters have triangles. Yeah. What about like?
I said this before, but I'm Puerto Rican, and I know a certain singer/actor from Puerto Rico who was on the show a long time ago. I think maybe there needs to be an old love interest.
Miguel comes back. Ricky Martin comes back. Miguel.
I think that'd be great. Maybe daytime television is ready for
a triangle,
a gay triangle here, where there's a threat.
Like, I want a gay triangle with a threat that's really like, not these sort of triangles that kind of like don't go. Like, give me a triangle.
Yeah.
Why can't there be? We watch it with the straight characters all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, we've now written your next story.
Okay. Come on, Ricky. Come on, Ricky. If you're listening.
We're putting it out there, Ricky. Come on back. Just for a guest. Even if you can do like 10 episodes, we'll take it.
Yeah. Just make Lucas have to work harder for this love.
Right. And who's the better singer? It'll probably be Ricky.
Yeah. I think that there was an episode recently where someone asks Lucas, are you just hoping to move in with Marco at some point? And so I'm hoping that means I get an apartment or a house.
If you get a house and an apartment, that's a good sign.
Yeah. I'm just gonna push.
Oh, you have your own set.
Yeah, I'm just gonna push Dad off of the castle.
Is he staying at? He's staying at Windermere, right? At Spoon Island.
Yeah.
His dad.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen Marco's room in Spoon Island.
No.
Okay. Adrian, I'm so glad we got the chance to do this. It's so nice to talk to you and to see you and learn more about you and like see what you're going through, because I'm really happy you're there and I hope it all works out. And I'm really worried I'm going to hate what Marco does next, but we'll see.
Don't worry. I mean, maybe we'll get to do this again, and it'll be with me and Lucas, and Ricky Martin in this. Can you fit 4 cameras, 4 squares?
For Ricky, we will.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Watch Adrian Anchondo weekdays on General Hospital on ABC. Thank you so much.
Bye.